7-round mag. I think it's got 6, maybe, or 7, I don't know. But nevertheless, we're gonna shoot, so. What's good, everybody? Valley here once again. Welcome back to the Messy Workbench, and this time we're taking a look at the Freedom Blaster's Grass Snake. This is a tiny Flywheel mag-fed pistol powered by the Flywheel of the World cage. And let me just illustrate the fact at how tiny this is, because here is a double strike for scale. Yes, in the hand, it is effectively the same size
so tiny. Aww.
as a double strike. Yet it is flywheel powered, semi-auto, just like the Pigeon, and it is mag-fed. So it is a perfect sight-on. And yes, it is a very tiny thing that he gave me access to, he being Big Tendies over on the Thingiverse and Donut Steel Tendies over on Reddit. And yes, this is a very, very nice little pistol. I printed this in Hatchbox Yellow along with Hello 3D Black Glitter, which, depending on the angle, this black glitter likes to get more glittery. And yes, this thing is held together entirely by pins and clips to completely remove the slide and get to the battery. You remove the front, and then this lifts off vertically. And there is plenty of room for a big 3S Lipo right above the internal mechanism, which this is where the sort of trigger mech as well as the mag release and all that, because this is a wild card magwell. And yes, I'm going to show off this as well. This is a suppressor attachment, which I customized myself. I put Freedom Blaster's Snake on it, as well as adding a sort of snake decal to the side. I'm going to put the slide back on, which this is very easy to do. I would like to get myself a smaller 3S for this, but considering this thing can fit a large 3S, might as well use it. And to bring the front in and locks in place, it simply slides in there. And then you just put a pin in the front, which it is fairly snug, which these pins are printed, so they can break, they can warp over time just due to the nature of PLA. And I can actually show you a few spare pins I have printed. I just printed these on their side with a brim, which makes them really easy to print, because I think printing vertically would be a little more difficult. And if you are a little wary about this, you can always use, I think it's 2.5 millimeters, maybe 3 millimeters. I actually have some brass rod that would work well as pins for this, but just for the ease of use, I like using these printed ones. And there you go. Now you have a suppressor, which does look a little bit silly, just due to the fact that the barrel is down below because the whole cage is flipped upside down. You saw the cage, the bottom of the motors were right here. It is a little bit goofy. A different designed silencer, suppressor, whatever you want to call it, would be better. I printed this as a 2-color print right here, and then the end cap is a separate piece that you just attach with screws, and it does make it a lot more pointable, but it does sort of ruin the small form factor of this. So I'm going to replace the original muzzle, which I think is quite nice. It is a little bit boxy, it's a little bit goofy, but overall it makes it very nice. And the included mag with this is meant to be flush. This is just a modified Catalan made by Tonticles. And yes, it holds 7 rounds, 7 times 50 caliber, and it makes it a very, very nice sort of pistol. And I'm going to get some FPS numbers now. We're going to power up the chronograph. Best practice for a Fly with the World semi-auto pistol like this is to pull it shortly to rev the wheels, and then pull fully to get a shot. Nope, it did not fire. This, I might have it overstuffed, I don't know. I only have a few darts in here for testing. 99.7. 100 even. 97.4. 112.8. And that was it. But the numbers speak for themselves. It's getting standard Flywheel World performance, and I have revamps in this right now. There are better motors than revamps for this, but it's just what I had on hand, and that means I could always run this on 2S if I'd like to get less performance if I'm in a more close quarters area, but considering it only hits around 100, 110-ish, it's perfect. And yes, we're going to get a little bit of firing footage now before I give you my absolute final thoughts on this thing. 7-round mag. I think it's got 6, maybe, or 7. I don't know. But nevertheless, we're gonna shoot. So. And that's a decent range. I mean, and that's with me revving for a second beforehand. But snapshots can vary just due to the nature of firing with them. But you know, that's a perfect little sidearm. Yeah, it's really compact. And I do think the ranges speak for themselves, considering that tree is fairly far away. It is more than 30 feet, obviously. And yes, the fact that it is small is a little bit iffy for my hands because the bottom of my palm actually does sort of come off of here. And I always end up wrapping my pinky around the bottom because the way this is a a katana in a wildcard magwell does mean that with the pusher pushing on the follower here, it does cause the mag to get shifted downwards just because I don't have quite the strongest springs in here. That is something I can improve myself. But if he swapped to something like a Catalan, that holds in a little bit better. And he's not going to run around. It jiggles around less, obviously because it fills out the space better. And that is a bit goofy looking, but you know, if you're running in a round or whatever, you're not going to care about how your blaster looks particularly. And yes, overall, I think that is quite nice. It can have a few improvements made, like say a Catalan flush mag that maybe has a grip extension, which we've discussed before in personal. And yes, this thing will be out soon. This is just a sort of prototype version of it, but I still think it is a great little platform, especially considering how everyone seems to love the Pigeon nowadays by MHP. It is a great alternative to that. If you have a smaller build plate on your printer or whatever and you can't print the full-sized Pigeon. And yes, I'll drop a link down below whenever the files are ready. My name is Valor. Thanks for watching.